Hey everyone, how's it going? I just wanted to shoot a quick little video to introduce myself and tell you how I managed to lose 80 pounds and keep it off. And not only was I able to lose 80 pounds and keep it off, but I was also able to help my wife, who's been trying to lose weight for the past 13 years, lose 54 pounds and keep it off as well. So before I get into that, let's start on a serious note. Alright, a little bit about me and my background. I've been training for the past 30 plus years. And when I say training, I'm referring to bodybuilding. And I did it at a level where I was competitive. I competed 3 times, and I was also a professional wrestler. I did that for over 10 years. I wrestled all over Canada, wrestled all over the States. I also had a short-lived career in MMA as a professional fighter. So with that being said, I'd like to think that I know a thing or two when it comes to training and dieting. But even though I trained for 30 years and I trained religiously, like I'm not joking, like I trained 5 days a week and I never missed a day. In fact, I would usually take 1 week off every 6 months just to relax and give my body a break. But other than that, I was always training. I never stopped. But the thing is I always hated dieting. I couldn't stand dieting. I loved cooking and I loved food. Like, food and cooking is a huge passion of mine. So much so that I live in Montreal, okay? I flew to Georgia just so I can go to barbecue school so I can be trained by the best in the world. Not because I want to compete or open up a catering service or anything like that, but just to up my own game so I can impress my friends and my family. And I love eating good food. So that's how much I loved cooking. And I hated dieting. Dieting for me really sucked. Going to the gym was the easy part. I can train like an animal, but when it comes to dieting was impossible. I just loved eating foods too much, and the worst part is even though I trained for over 30 years and I did all that other extra activity from the wrestling and the MMA fighting, I never looked good with my shirt off. I was always out of shape. And to the point where I didn't like taking my shirt off because I was always afraid of what people were thinking. Like, Christ, for a guy who's been training for 30 years, he's certainly out of shape. And to make things worse, whenever I met new people, which happens a lot because my daughter does hockey, so my life basically revolves around going to hockey arenas with my daughter doing practices and tryouts and so on and so forth and her games. So I'm meeting a lot of other families there. And when I meet these people, they're always like, they talk to me for a couple minutes, and then after that they throw out this comment which always bothered me. And then they'd be like, hey, Sean, has anyone ever told you that you look like Kevin James? And I'd be like, what? You mean like the actor / comedian? Yay, you look just like him. Keep in mind, back then I had no goatee and stuff. I was clean shaved, and I'd be like, what? I trained for over 30 years? And I look like a fucking fat comedian? That didn't sit well with me. And it didn't just happen once or twice. It happened multiple times. So these things really bothered me. And I always wanted to get in shape, and my plan was, to be honest with you, I'm almost 46 now, okay? And when I turned 40, my plan was always to, okay, I want to be in better shape in my 40s than my 20s and 30s. And my entire life, I always trained to be big, to be thick, to be strong. And again, remember people, I used to be a professional wrestler, so I was just that big, thick, muscular guy, you know, like the linebacker build. The build where it looked like it was easier to go through the wall than go over the wall. That's what I always admired. And for myself, I always trained to be that big, strong guy. So by doing so, losing weight was always very difficult for me mentally because I always trained to be big. I never wanted to be small. I never wanted to be skinny. I never wanted to be weak. So, anyways, once my 40s came, I was like, I couldn't stick to a diet. I couldn't get over losing weight on the scale, and I couldn't, and that's just because of ego-wise. But I hated the way I was looking, and it just drove me crazy, and I couldn't stick to a diet. It's sad to say that I trained for 30 years, and the only times I was in shape was the 3 times that I competed. And those 3 times that I competed, it was hell. Like, I always knew how to lose weight, but it just wasn't sustainable. I couldn't stay on top of the diet. I can do it for 3 months. Hell, I can do anything for 3 months. But to do it beyond that, there was just no way it was happening. So, needless to say, I put it on the back burner because I wasn't able to do it, and I just kept putting on weight slowly over the time. Every year I kept putting on the pounds, putting on the pounds, putting on the pounds, until eventually I hit 265, and honestly, I just didn't look good. But I didn't realize how bad I looked. And I'm a big consumer of podcasts. And one day I'm online, I'm looking through podcasts, and I love Joe Rogan. And I see in one of his podcasts, he's interviewing this guy, Dr. Sean Baker, and he talks about the carnivore diet. And I was like, that's just crazy. That doesn't even make any sense. I'd done the keto diet, and in fact, over the past 30 years, I tried every diet that there is. And if I hadn't tried it personally, I know people who had done it. And there's always flaws in the diet, and I never liked the way traditional diet was taught, and I was like, it's not sustainable. I can't live like this the rest of my life. It just doesn't make any sense. So I listened to his story on how he does the carnivore diet, and I was like, this is just crazy. It's too extreme. It's too out there. I was like, where does he get his vitamin and his minerals and his nutrients from? I was like, no, it doesn't make sense. But in the back of my head, I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? This guy looks great. He's big, he's strong, he's muscular, he's lean. I was like, everything that you want in a physique if you were to design a physique. So, needless to say, I watched the whole interview. I wasn't completely sold on it. In fact, I'd forgotten about it, and I put it on the back burner. And then a couple weeks later, I remembered about it, and I decided to go online and start to research it, and I wasn't able to find anything good that was mentioned about the carnivore diet. And I was like, every doctor, every nutritionist, in fact, anybody that hasn't tried the diet had said that it's crazy, it is stupid, it is missing so many things, and so on and so forth, and you're just crazy to do it. But I don't know, I wasn't really willing to let it go yet. So later on that day, again, I'm looking through more Joe Rogan podcasts. I don't watch them all the time. I let them pile up, and every once in a while I go back and I dig through the archives and I find something that I like, and he had Jordan Peterson on there. Another guy that I love and respect. I buy his books and stuff. I think the guy's amazing. I love listening to him talk. Intellectual black belt. Anyways, he's talking with Rogan, and he's talking about, like Rogan mentions how good he looks and this, that, and the other thing, and he goes, not only like how good I look, but how well I feel and the brain fog, and he goes on to talking about how he's been following a carnivore diet. And he went on and he talked about all these different benefits, and he wasn't promoting the diet in any way, shape, or form, and he even says that in the interview if you watch it. He goes, this is just what he has noticed while being on the diet. And he mentioned his daughter as well, and how it's managed to help his daughter, who suffered from many different ailments, like pretty much from the time that she was born to like now when she's like in her mid-20s. And he was saying by her eating this way, for the first time in his life, he'd seen her. He didn't see her for like 6 months because they no longer live together, and she has a child and a life of her own. That when he saw her, he actually cried when he saw her because she was so healthy for the first time ever. She didn't look like she was sick or dying in pain and misery. So that got me into digging a little bit deeper. And when I started looking to other people that actually did the diet instead of people that talked about the diet, I couldn't find one bad thing about the diet that was being said. And I was like, this is pretty interesting. And I started digging deeper and seeing all the different nutrients and stuff that you do get from the diet. It's like, it is a complete diet. You don't really need fruits and vegetables to get everything in there like they've been telling us all these years. Our parents and our teachers and our doctors and everyone's been telling us this stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a try, because like every other diet, I've tried it, and I'd like to be able to just say, you know what? I did that diet. But here's the thing, is I never actually put forth a date on when I was going to do this diet. And so, needless to say, a couple months went by, forgot about the diet, wasn't inspired, totally put it on the back burner, and my wife had to go to Vegas. She had a conference to go to. And I decided to tag along with her. Hey, it's Vegas. Why not? So we go there, and I tore up Vegas. I don't smoke or drink or do drugs or anything, but I love eating. I am a hardcore foodie. So to be there in Vegas, walking down the strip and with all the celebrity chefs and all the restaurants and the treats and the snacks and the goodies and the drinks, and it's just like, ha, yeah! I went nuts. I started eating everything that was there, tearing up the buffets and just putting a hurt on everything that I saw. And while I was walking around there, I'm just walking around, and at this point my weight had really started to get away from me. My hands were going numb while I was walking. My back was getting so engorged with blood. I would walk for 10 minutes and then have to sit down for 10 minutes because it was just so much buildup in my lower back, and I was like, why am I so much discomfort? It's like, I train 5 days a week and yet I'm putting on weight. I feel terrible. My hands are going numb, and all I'm doing is walking. And in fact, the time before that, we went to Disneyland. And it was actually a concern in my head that, am I going to be able to walk around this park with my daughter and my wife? Because my lower back kills me just from holding too much weight. And anyways, that was just a horrible feeling to have to go through that. Like, am I going to be able to walk? It just sounds stupid, especially for a guy who's been training for 30 years. And everyone always tells you, oh, if you want to get in shape, just go to the gym. Well, I've been going to the gym. So, anyways, I'm having all my issues in Vegas. Like I said, my hands are going numb, my lower back, even my knees were bugging me. So at one point during our trip that we're there for 5 days, my wife goes off to her conference and she leaves me alone for the day, so I have to entertain myself. And I decide, okay, I'm gonna check out some sites. So I go to the Wax Museum, and they got all these amazing statues of all these celebrities and stuff, and I'm like, this is fucking cool. So I pull out my camera, I start taking some selfies with all these different statues. And anyways, the day goes by and my wife finishes her conference. She comes to meet me, she's like, hey, how's it going? I was like, great. She was like, what'd you do today? I go, oh man, I went to the Wax Museum, I checked out all these different sculptures, and I was like, they're really cool. It's like, you should have seen them. I was like, oh, wait, here, I took a bunch of pictures, check it out. I pulled out my camera and I'm showing it to her, and I'm like, what the? Oh my God. I was dumbfounded on how bad I looked, on how fat I looked, how out of shape I was. You know, like, I trained for 30 years and I look like a fat guy. And when people say I look like Kevin James, that's actually an insult to Kevin James, for Christ's sakes. Like, I look so bad, like, I didn't even look like I knew a guy named Jim. Forget about go to the gym. I was totally like, I was flabbergasted. I was like, no, I didn't train my entire life to look this way. This is not how I saw myself in the mirror, and I knew I needed to lose some weight, but I didn't think I looked that bad, you know? And, you know, you can have a picture here or there where it makes you look bad, but I was taking pictures with like, sculptures of fat guys. I took a picture of me standing beside a sculpture of the fat guy from
Hangover.
Yeah, The Hangover. Thank you. That's my wife off in the corner. From The Hangover. You know, friggin' the Wolfpack guy there.
Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, Zach Galifianakis. Can't pronounce his name. I hope I said it right. But I'm taking a picture with that guy, and I'm fatter than him, and he's a fat guy in the movies, and I'm like, what? Come on, man. So at that point, I told my wife, I was like, you know what? Remember that carnivore diet thing I was telling you about a few months ago? I was like, we're leaving here on Sunday. Monday morning, I want to try this out. You know, I knew I need to lose a little bit of weight, but you know what? I also had another plan, because the thing is at that point, my wife and I had been together for about 13 and a half years, something along those lines, and she'd always wanted to lose weight. When we got together, I've known my wife her entire life. I met her when she was 9 years old. So when I got together with her and we hooked up as a couple, she'd gained a bit of weight and she always wanted to lose that weight. And long story short, she was never able to lose that weight, and she continued to gain weight. And then when she got pregnant, she gained even more weight. And even though I trained religiously, and she was with me when I competed and dieted for those contests and stuff, and I tried to motivate her in so many different ways. We have gym equipment at home. In fact, this is my basement in my house. I train at home now. And she was never able to lose weight. So I started figuring, I was like, you know what? Maybe if I introduce her to this diet, and I do it with her for, my plan was originally to do it for a week, 2 weeks maximum, just to say that I did it, maybe lose a little bit of water weight, and then take it from there. But honestly, I didn't plan on going past 2 weeks, because that's usually the extent of how long the diets lasted, unless I was doing some stupid show, which involved tons of cardio, and suffering through diets, and not liking the food that I eat, and being hungry all the time. It sucks. So I told her about the diet, and I was like, we're gonna start Monday. And she said, okay. So Monday came around and I decided, well here, this is the first mistake I made. Is when I got back, I got all excited about the diet because I started reading and researching and consuming all these videos and reading all these books and reading everything on it while I was doing it. And in those first couple days, I mentioned to my family and friends, I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. I'm eating like an all-meat type diet. And they told me I was crazy. And then I was stupid, and then I was a moron, and then I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna get sick, and they basically tried to crucify me. They called me every name in the book and really tried to, make me feel like I was a fucking moron for doing this. So, the best thing that I ever did was just ignore them. And when I ignored them, it was the best thing that ever happened to me because 2 weeks went by, and I weighed myself for the first 2 weeks. And the first week I stepped on the scale and I started at 265. I stepped on the scale and I was like, holy crap. I lost 14 pounds in my first week. Keep in mind, things are going to be different for everyone. One, I hold a lot of muscle, so muscle burns energy like crazy. But it was still 14 pounds. I was like, holy shit. The second week I stepped on the scale, I lost 3 pounds. So now I'm doing really well. I lost 17 pounds in 2 weeks and I'm like, holy shit, And because I train at home, I get dressed upstairs, I come downstairs and I train and that's it. I never look at myself in the mirror. And this time I decided every Friday I was looking at myself in the mirror. I train shoulders and traps and I feel I look my best at that point. So I take off my shirt and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, holy crap. I was like, I'm liking the way that I look. And I'm not hungry all the time. I look forward to the foods that I'm eating. And you know what? 2 weeks has passed and I'm like, I'm not ready to get off this diet yet. And I was like, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna do it for a month. So I did it for a month. But here's the thing, because I always step on the scale, I never liked stepping on the scale because I never liked losing weight. So if I stepped on the scale and instead I lost 5 pounds, I was almost suicidal because I had big anorexia. I always wanted to get bigger. I always wanted to be thicker. I always wanted to be stronger. So it was hard for me to lose weight, even though I was just losing fat. And it made me look better, but it was still hard mentally. So I decided to go by the mirror on how I looked. And like I said, every Friday I looked better and better. And I lost 17 pounds in that first 2 weeks. And then I just stopped stepping on the scale altogether. A month went by and I'm like, well, Sean, it's been a month. Here are the crossroads, do I stop or don't I stop? And I was like, hell no, I ain't stopping. I like the way this feels. I'm going for 2 months. I have never started a diet and after the 2 weeks said, you know what? Oh, I really like this. I'm going to keep going. Fuck no. So I went another month, so now it's been 2 months, and again, I'm doing nothing but looking at the mirror. And I'm really liking the way that I'm looking. I'm losing inches on my waist, inflammation's coming down, I'm getting compliments, my skin's glowing, as gay as that sounds. But I'm telling you, people were telling me how good I looked and stuff, and I was like, they're right, it's not just me. I was like, you know what, after 2 months, I'm sticking to this diet. I really enjoy eating this way. Now, fast forward 5 months down the road. So I've been doing this diet now for 5 months. After those 5 months, I've now at this point lost 77 pounds. And I didn't change anything in my workouts. I didn't start doing tons of cardio. I didn't start doing, tons of reps and tons of sets. I wasn't suffering through a diet. I looked forward to the foods that I was eating. I had energy. I felt good and I looked good. I was strong and I was lean. I lost 9 inches on my waist. My waist was the size that I was wearing when I was in high school. What the hell? So I didn't even care what I weighed anymore. I just liked the way I looked and I liked the way I felt. And I know people are saying, well, Sean, you're committed, you're dedicated, you train 5 days a week. Well, I was also 77 pounds heavier doing the exact same thing. The only thing was I changed what I ate. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. On top of that, my wife, okay, who never trained the entire time, who never did any type of cardio, no abs, no suffering whatsoever, lost 54 pounds. And here's the kicker. She also didn't stick to the diet. She cheated like 60 to 65% of the time. I'm not shitting you. So she really wasn't suffering. She wasn't having any problems or whatnot. And she still lost weight. So imagine if she would have actually stuck to it. Imagine if she would have actually worked out, the progress that she would have had. But just the fact that she stuck with it that much and cheated as much as she did and still lost 54 pounds. And for those of you that don't realize how much that is, imagine a pound of butter and then stack that up on your kitchen table and look at that and go, that was all over my friggin' body. That is insane. And now the icing on the cake was not only my results and my wife's results, but it was my friends and family were really noticing my results. In fact, they couldn't help but to notice it. And they started asking me, how did you do it? Can you help me? Show me how to do this. And you know what? My whole life I've been training, and people always ask me, you know what, Sean? How come you don't train people? Why don't you train people? Why don't you be a personal trainer? And I always said no. And I always hated training people. I always thought, you know, it was pointless because you're training these people in these ways of where they can't stick to it. And these people aren't motivated. And I hate being fake and going to these people like, oh, it's okay. How's the wife and how's the kids? And stretch, stretch, stretch. And oh, we're going to get you back in health. Fuck, man. You know, like, that doesn't make me feel good as a man. You know, like, especially when you're like a manly man, you're a tough guy. You're not just some guy with a dad bod that needs to lose like, you know, 15, 20 pounds, you know, like, come on, it was very demeaning to me. I couldn't stand it, it drove me nuts. But when I started looking at this diet, I was like, why did this diet work for me? Why did I stay on this diet? And I started reconsidering trying to help other people. And I started thinking, there's so many people that are out there that are like, that used to be athletes, that used to be in the military, that, you know, that used to play football, like guys that look good back in the day, even if you just went to the gym and you trained and you're the college days and stuff and you felt good and you looked good. And now you're like you look at those days, like those are the glory days, you know, and like now you're an armchair quarterback instead of a quarterback, you know, like, and I started thinking to myself was like, I have a love for cooking. I have a love for pro wrestling, and I have a love for bodybuilding. So basically what I started to think of is like, holy shit, I was like, I can take my three loves and slam them together and help other people out there, like myself, you know, like people that don't want to be talked to like they're a baby from some motivational speaker that's patting you on the back with a worried look of concern. You know, like, what the fuck is that shit? You know, like, come on. To me, that's the wrong way to go about doing things. So, I've decided at that point that I'm going to put together a program. And I'm going to tackle it different than everyone else does. And by doing so, I'm putting together somebody, myself, time to get back into character, guys. You know, putting together myself where I can reach out to the guys that liked Orange County Choppers back in the day, Jesse James, competition barbecue, pro wrestling, football, military guys, you know, take all those guys that, you know, remember the glory years. And if you don't have the glory years, I want to bring them to you. I want to get you off the sideline, guys, and put you back in the game. So basically what I've decided to do is take all my knowledge for the love of cooking, and I want to put together not only a program, a diet, and give you the recipes, but because of my love and passion for cooking and for barbecue, I have more cookbooks than most fucking bookstores. Like, it's a fetish of mine. I consume book after book and course after course. Like, I've taken 6 different barbecue courses, for Christ's sakes, just so I can learn all the tips and tricks to be able to throw down and make something that tastes delicious. And the 2 reasons why people fail in diets is because they're hungry all the time and they don't like the food that they're eating. So I want to tackle that head on, and I want to bring in, my specialties when it comes to cooking. I want to show you how to make an amazing steak, an amazing chicken breast, pork, and brisket, and just knock it out of the park so you look forward to the foods that you're eating. On top of that, I want to be able to give you guys the motivation that it takes to get up and get going. I want to go after the guys that need to lose like 100 pounds plus. I'm not looking for the guys that need to lose like 15, 20 pounds. If that's you, great, and you want my help, more power to you. Come on, you're all welcome. But I'm putting together a program, and I'm going to tackle the diet, the recipes, the cooking techniques. I'm giving you a cooking school, that I had to pay thousands of dollars in books and classes to be able to acquire all this knowledge. And the same thing with training, from MMA, the pro wrestling, the bodybuilding, and dieting for the shows. I am not a certified trainer. I'll put that out right now. But with all the experience that I have, I'll put my experience up against any yahoo that's going to take some guy and try and put him on diets. There's a reason why they don't tackle the people that need the most help. The people that, there's more people with obesity and in the United States and Canada than there are overweight people. So what does that tell you? There's a huge market out there that nobody is helping, and everyone's telling you to, eat less and move more and fucking work out. That's bullshit. That's not going to work, Yes, cardio is good for your heart. Yes, cardio is good for getting the blood going, but you cannot out-train a bad diet. You can spend an hour freaking doing cardio, and in that hour, you can wreck it just by making one bad diet choice within 1 minute, You'll burn, if you're lucky, 500 calories by sitting on the treadmill for an hour. First off, who wants to do that? That's bullshit, Second, if you eat 2 donuts, boom, done. How long did it take you to shove that in your face? Not very long. So, there is no out-training a bad diet. Abs are made in the kitchen. They're not made in the gym. And as far as lifting weights goes, I'm sorry. Lifting weights does not, melt your fat off. But there are benefits. It makes you stronger. It builds muscle and strength adds to longevity. But as far as burning fat goes, it's not very good at burning fat, because if you have a 20-inch arm and you have an inch of fat over it, you still look like a fat guy. I've got news for you. Every single person on this planet has abs. The only reason you don't see them is because they're under your fat. So you can do all the abs you want, you are not going to see those things. But is it bad to do abs? Absolutely not. Because by doing abs, you're at least strengthening your core and you're building muscle. And by building muscle, you're generating more energy that your body needs. So yes, in the long run, it will help you burn. But like I said, I've been training for over 30 years and I still look like shit with my shirt off. So you can't build $1 million body eating off of the dollar menu. Now with that being said, I want to put together a program that's going after the people that are, that have tried everything, that are hopeless, that have given up, the people that, need to lose at least 100 pounds, If that's you, I want to help you, and I realize I can do this, and I can hold you by the hand, and I'm not going to be that friggin', uppity friggin' motivational speaker. Come on guys, we can do this. No, I'm here to, hold you accountable and give you the true tools to be able to do this. And I'm going to give you 3 layers of working out. And I don't care if you can't even get off the couch. I want you to do this diet, and I want you to be able to do it until you can get up. Once you're able to get up, I want you to be able to get out your front door. So that means you have no gym equipment or whatnot, and if you can walk 5 minutes out and 5 minutes back, that's 10 minutes. Okay? We're going to concentrate on that until you've gotten strong enough. Once you've gotten strong enough, this is where I'm going to introduce workouts. And I realize going to the gym is hard when you have 100 plus pounds to lose. It's embarrassing. You don't know what to do. Your mind's always going on is this, what are other people thinking? You know what I mean? Like, it just, but what I want to do is I want to take you guys and I want to do a workout at home where you don't need any gym equipment, and you're going to do these like 15 to 20 minute workouts that I'm going to put together for you guys, and they're not going to be exercises that make you look and feel like a fool. So you're going to feel good to do these things. And once you're able to build up to where you're able to do the full workout that I'm going to give to you so you can do in the comfort of your own home, I'm then at that point going to give you a workout that you can do at the gym. Once you feel that you've lost enough weight and you're confident enough where you want to be able to join the gym. And I'm going to give you a workout where you can do your whole body and not spend your whole day in there, not wasting all your time. And it's going to be for beginners. So you don't need to feel like you're in over your head. And then I'm going to give you the next workout, which is going to be for the more advanced guys. The guys that want to go out there and give maximum effort, The guys that really want to bring it to the next level. But what I'm saying is you don't need to do any of these things. If you just want to do the diet, it's fine. If you want to work out at home, it's fine. Like look at my wife. Hell, she didn't even stick to the diet properly and she still lost weight. The whole point is you need to do the diet for whatever, whatever meets your lifestyle, whatever you're able to do. I realize everyone has different challenges. So I'm there to help you guys. And like I said, I want to tackle the food. I want to tackle the recipes. And when you learn how to cook and you love what you're doing, I'm telling you, and you love what you're eating, there is no better feeling than looking forward to the foods that you're eating. And to be able to cook for your friends and your family, and they come over and you can throw down by making an award-winning brisket, and just impressing your friends and family and looking forward to what you're eating and never being hungry. So this is what I'm doing. I'm Sean Russell, and this is Built by Beef, baby. I am the fitness industry outlaw. I am declaring war on the fitness industry. And I want you guys to follow me, to be a part of my 1%, to spit in the face of the fitness industry and take control of your life. Come on, guys, let's go.